Another sunny day, one last push before the first rest day. Stage 9 of the 107th Giro D'Italia took the riders all the way from Abruzzo through Lazio and into Campania. The longest stage of the first week, one of the longest of the Giro, only the second longest at 214 kilometres. A downhill start, 3 intermediate sprints on the coast, and then the tricky, twisty, up and down roads of Naples. A third visit in as many years to Napoli, one of the historical cities on the Giro d'Italia. Pogačar was still in pink and looking to get to the rest day with his almost 3 minutes of a lead nicely intact. Talk before the stage was one maybe for a breakaway, but only 2 men got away in the breakaway, and it was beautifully controlled by Alpecin-Deceuninck, with other teams not choosing to challenge them by sending anybody up the road. Just 2 men got there. There will be a couple of short attacks and bursts, but Pietro Bon of Pol di Cometa and his teammate Maestri were there with 2 minutes and more of a gap as Geraint Thomas and co enjoyed their lunch. A couple of other moves on the way, but they wouldn't be getting close to getting any company really. A couple of teams toying with Alpecin-Deceuninck on the way, others making sure they were taking on board fluids and getting ready to go. Double world champion Alaphilippe playing bottle runner, and it was time for the sprinters to have a run at the line. First intermediate sprint of the day won by Tim Merlier. A crash on the way into the first climb of the day. Geraint Thomas caught up behind it. Max Schachmann going down. Everybody, thankfully, back to the peloton without further incident. The Intergiro sprint went, and a new attack came. Proof that things were about to get even more nervous in the peloton. That attack didn't come to fruition, so 2 riders still out there going into the start of Monte di Procida. The only classified climb on the day, but the start of 4 or 5 short climbs on the way into Naples. And the start of the first climb meant that Fabio Jakobsen would be the first sprinter ejected out the back. Joining him soon were the likes of Dekker, Lund, his teammate, and of course Tim Merlier, all looking good for Alpecin-Deceuninck. Those sprinters were being distanced inside the final 30 Ks, and on to the next climb, Julien Alaphilippe decided to have a go. He'd be marked by Nicola Conci of Alpecin-Deceuninck. 2 other riders then came across for Mark and Aski. And a 7th would make it. That would be Owen Kostju. Did they have any chance of going? Well, they certainly gave it a go. Alaphilippe and Kostju would soon be alone. 20 kilometres to go, but only 15 seconds of an advantage. The roads were nervous, though. They were tricky, they were testing. Sprint team still giving their all to try and catch the 2 out in front. And into the final 10 kilometres, last climb of the day, Alaphilippe gave it his final whack. Kostju would be caught. Lidl Trek seemingly in control, but then with just under 8 kilometres to go, Jonathan Narvaez, winner of the first stage, attacked. A few riders tried to go with him. None of them able to get onto the wheel, though. It'd take a while before the rest of the peloton were organised enough to continue the chase. All the while, though, advantage going to 6 seconds, 5 seconds, and then growing inside the final 3 Ks on the tricky streets of Naples. 12 kilometres going into the final K, and it looked as though he had it. It would take pulls from Pogačar and Consonni to really put him under pressure. Narvaez still ahead at 50 metres to go, but Milan launching the sprint, passing him. But Milan's problem was that Koy got past him too. And Olav Koy of Visma Lease bike on Grand Tour debut, without his lead-out man able to do the business. A first Grand Tour stage win for the very talented young sprinter from the Netherlands. He'd been supposed to come here with Wout van Aert. An injury to him meant that Laporte would be there. Laporte going home injured. Koy still, though, winning this stage. Koy, Milan, Molano, Dainese and Van Poppel all in the top 5. Pogačar still in pink, having won a third of the stages in the opening week. His lead at the first rest day, 2:40 over Martinez, 2:58 in front of Thomas. O'Connor still fourth. Maglia Ciclamino, despite not winning the stage, still on the back of Jonathan Milan. Coy's victory moves him up a place into third, but it's still a healthy lead for the defending champion. Pogačar is well in control, the king of the mountain standings. A 52-point lead for Pog ahead of Martinez. Next non-GC contender is Geskia, and one of the GC contenders is the best young rider. He's Kion Uiterbrooks, leading that competition by 21 seconds ahead of Antonio Tiberi. Next place rider is Arendsman. A rest day for the Giro peloton before a very typically tough, punchy stage and an uphill finish on Tuesday. Stage 10, 140 kilometers, going uphill, finishing at Boca de la Selva. A tough one this. It always is. The Giro still has 2 weeks to go. You can watch it all live and on demand on Eurosport, Discovery Plus, or if you're in the US, on Max.